library halls, where the dust is thick and the silence calls. Books tell stories of the things unseen, of foxes wild and spirits keen. Whispers in the stacks they creep, ghostly chills that steal your sleep. Paranormal truths no one believes, they linger here like autumn's leaves. Bibles open to verses dark, stories written to leave their mark. The wildlife outside hears the moans, silent foxes, the forest grows. The last of beast you cannot tame, a history buff who knows no shame. Karaman life outside hears the moans, silent foxes, the forest grows. The past a beast you cannot tame, a history buff who knows no shame. Karaman normal tales in every spine, haunting truths that cross the line. Whispers in the stacks they creep, ghostly chills that steal your sleep. Paranormal truths no one believes, they linger here like autumn's leaves. Spirits waltz through moonlit air, books fall down as if to dare. Foxes howl in the wooded shade, they guard the truths that time forbade.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the library. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Let me remove that and let me get myself on camera here. There we go. Hello, everyone. Wow, 15 people to start out. That's awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on this September Friday. Let's get the camera on. There we go. We've got Lenny, we've got Edgar, and we've got Victor up close tonight. So, hello, Mustang Mike. Hello, Gerard. Thindu, my brother. Gina is here. Good to see you. Crumel in the house. Delilah in the house. Tommy Stiggs is here. Zelda Z is here. Tammy Thompson is here. Michael is here. Who else is here? Anybody else that I missed? There's people. There's more people. Ben is here. Ben was here for a while. I was talking to him before. Sweet Tea is here. Hello, Sweet Tea. Anyone else here? I said hello to Tammy, and I think that's it for now. Patty. Hello, Patty. Good to see you. Nice crew tonight. Thank you guys for stopping in and hanging out. If you're here and just listening, say hello. Arlene, how are you? Good to see you. Adam Crevorsier in the house. Excellent. Thank you, guys. Let me light my candles, and we can get started. This is going to be a shorter than usual show. I know I say that all the time, and it turns out not to be, but I think this one is going to be. I only have 4 stories tonight and just a couple of videos. So I think it's going to be short just because of lack of material. Let me move this a little bit here. Magooch Management in the house. How are you, my friend? Let's see what this looks like if we shut this off. 19 people. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. A little bit darker. There we go. The new camera is in effect. I think it's looking well. Honeybee. Welcome, Honeybee. I think you're new. Thank you for stopping in. If you've been here before, I apologize. I don't remember, but thank you for stopping in. Hope you enjoy the show. Okay, so tonight we're going back to New Jersey. We're going to do some more New Jersey ghost tales. So it's amazing to me how many ghostly tales there are in New Jersey. So I figured let's go back again. And I think next week too is going to be one. Next week is going to be the Jersey Shore, ghosts from the Jersey Shore. So plenty of stuff to talk about, plenty of interesting stories to convey. And as long as they're out there, I'm going to do them. So so I hope you enjoy it. Sit back, relax, listen, and then if you really are interested in some fun, stick around for the paranormal videos as we debunk and show that they are not real because they really aren't. Most of them, very rare that I ever see one that is. So, but that's our goal here is to debunk them, and that's what we do every time. All right. Oh, and just in passing, please hit the like button if you can. I appreciate that. Leave a comment after the show, even better. That helps even more. Get the word out. And if you really want to support this show, then consider becoming a member because that really helps. And that's about it. So let's get started. Now, the first story of the evening is about Sterling Mine in Ogdensburg, New Jersey. Now, Ogdensburg, New Jersey is located in Sussex County. It's a very small town. I don't think it's more than 2 miles long. Still rural to this day. And one of the main sources of industry there was a zinc mine called Sterling Mine. Now, this was around since 1897. Osada Treats has become a member. Look at that. Awesome. Thank you, Osada. Thank you, my friend. All right. So 1897 is what we start this mine, and it stays in effect until 1986. So it was around for almost a century, an operating zinc mine. And over the years, many 77 people lost their lives in this mine. So it makes kind of makes sense that there might be ghostly activity within the mine. And turns out there is. Tommy Stiggs gifted 1 membership. Thank you, my friend. I don't know who gets it though. Good question here. Can you tell? I can't really tell from StreamYard. You got to go into the actual show here to see who gets the gifted, right? Let's see. Midwest DJ. I never heard of this person, Midwest DJ, but they got the gifted membership. All right. Well, there you go, Midwest DJ. Hope you enjoy the membership, courtesy of Tommy Stiggs. All right. Honeybee has a channel. Okay, I didn't know this. Thank you, Gerard, for sharing it. I will check that out. Everyone else, check it out too. All right. All right. So, Sterling Mine. Now, what goes on in this mine? What is going on, Lenny? Huh? Tell us what goes on in this mine. Well, the main ghost here is a relatively new ghost when it comes to when you're thinking about some of the ghosts we speak about on this show. Some of them go back 200 years, 250 years. This ghost goes back to the 80s, believe it or not. Late 80s, late 1980s. So he's not that old of a spirit. And his name is called Bicycle Pete. Now, let me show you what the mine looks like. I think that's a good way to start here. We're going to show you what the mine looks like real quick so you get a good idea. If you went to school in New Jersey, you probably took a trip here. I know I did. I took a trip here. My kids took a trip here too. in grammar school to check out the mine, and it's open to the public. There's a museum, a very nice museum there, and it's open to tours, during the day. So and in the weekend. So it's an interesting place. My kids did enjoy there as well, and I do remember going here once when I was small too. So interesting places, but a lot of people died here, which is very common in the mining industry over the years, from the 18th century up, 18th, 1800s, not 18th century, 1800s up. Many people die in cave-ins and various other ways from being in mines. It's a very dangerous field, so it makes sense. Hey, Bobo, thank you for joining. Oh, thank you, honey bee. Thank you. Glad you like it. All right, so what are we talking about here? Bicycle Pete. Now, Bicycle Pete, before he was a ghost, was a worker in the mine. He worked in the mine many years, and he was a local resident, worked in the mine. And when the mine closed in 1986, he was kind of devastated by it. This was his life. He didn't really know what to do with his life. And he was kind of eccentric. The local kids kind of said things about him, rumors, and maybe tormented him a little bit here and there. But he used to ride his bicycle past the mine every day. That's what he would do, ride his bicycle back and forth through the mine. And he would ward off the kids. If kids were near the mine, because it was closed now, remember, and it is a hazard. You don't just wander into a mine. But he would chase away kids, and the kids didn't take too kindly to this, and they would throw things at him and torture, psychologically torture him, so to speak, which didn't make it such a good environment at the time. But that didn't deter Bicycle Pete from making his rounds. He would ride his bicycle every day to the mine. He would go into the mine, even though he wasn't supposed to. He would patrol it. He took this on as it was his duty to protect this mine, or depending on how you look at it, protect people from the mine. So he did this until one day Miss Bicycle Pete disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to him. His bicycle was found in front of the mine entrance, which I just showed you, and he was nowhere to be found. They did a search for him in the mine, couldn't find him. Did a search in the neighborhood, in the local lake, couldn't find him. He vanished completely. So it's believed that what happened was he went into the mine, something happened into the mine, and he perished in there, because this mine has 19 levels. So there's no way they could possibly search all of it. Some of the levels are too dangerous to even go on. So if Bicycle Pete had ventured into these levels and perished, that's what would have happened. No one was going to go in there and pull him out and risk their own life for this, to pull out his remains. So after the disappearance of Bicycle Pete, people begin to encounter paranormal activity around the mine and inside the mine. Thank you, Donnie McHugh. Look at this. Don McHugh gifted 5 memberships. Whoa, what is going on here? That's awesome. Thank you, my friend. Let's see, who gets these memberships? Tony Silo gets one. Oz 1990 gets one. Arm Distance. Haven't seen Arm Distance in a while. I hope he's okay. Patrick Ortega gets one, and Skywatcher gets one. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much. I wish I could gift these memberships. Anyway, that's another story you don't need to hear about. So, Bobo, it's a slang word for workers who work underground in New York City, drilling tunnels, mining. Oh, interesting. Yes, Gerard, like a dungeon. Exactly, like a dungeon. I mean, 19 levels is kind of amazing when you think about it. And all the zinc that it produced over the years. A sandhog. Oh, that's what you're saying, Bobo. A sandhog. Interesting. I never knew that. That's an interesting term. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. All right. And Honeybee says much of the area where I live is old coal mining in Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania famous for the coal mines. Absolutely, yeah. So after Pete disappears, paranormal activity starts. Now, what is the paranormal activity? Well, there is noises. Obviously, there are noises that come out of the mine. If you were to go to the mouth of the mine or the entrance to the mine, and you might hear random noises. Noises like hammering, as if there was actual mining still going on in the mine. You would hear moaning and crying in the mine as well. And it was believed after this occurred that if you ventured into the mine, you risked being pulled into the mine by Bicycle Pete. It was very well believed that he was in there somewhere and his spirit was dwelling there, and he was not too happy with people entering the mine in life, and he would carry that into the afterlife. So if you went to the mine and it became a dare, if you went into the mine, the mouth of the mine, the beginning of the mine, and you yelled Bicycle Pete, he would appear and you risked getting dragged into the mine to your doom. So Bicycle Pete is not a nice ghost. He's not a happy spirit. He's kind of a conundrum and not happy about the way he left this world, I guess. Not happy that the mine closed and not happy when people come near the mine. So if you're ever in that area, don't go into the mine and most certainly do not call out Bicycle Pete because that might summon him and you would risk losing your own life. So, something to think about there. He just another fact about the mine. It's 2,800 feet deep, so that's pretty deep. 2,800 feet deep. Wow. In that of those 19 levels, and it was the New Jersey Zinc Company that owned it and mined it and made money from it, obviously. So, so that's your first story of the night. Sterling Mine, Bicycle, the ghost of Bicycle Pete. And don't risk going in the mine. If you're going to go in that mine, only go with a tour group during the day. Don't go there at night and don't do it on your own. It's too dangerous. I mean, it is locked anyway, and it shouldn't happen. You should not be on there. But just in case, locals venture this. I know someone that lives in Ogdensburg, and he said that this tends to be a problem at times where people will do that. So, yes, everyone, please sub to Honeybee. Absolutely. Please sub to her channel. And I'm going to look at it after this show myself, actually. All right. So the first story was Bicycle Pete of Sterling Mine, Ogdensburg, New Jersey. All right. Now let's go on to number 2. Number 2 is called the Devil's Tree. Now, the Devil's Tree is located in Bernardsville, New Jersey, specifically in the Martinsville section of Bernardsville. Tommy says he's taking TheGuild there when he comes to Jersey. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know about. I don't know. I don't know if he would go into the mine though. I don't know if he's that. I don't think he'll stay away from the mines. So the Devil's Tree, like I said, is located in Martinsville, New Jersey. Now the Devil's Tree is still there. Now this is a very old tree. This is a 200-year-old tree, if that. And over the years, it has withered and limbs have been chopped off of it. So it doesn't look like much these days, but it's still there. I'm going to show you a picture of it in a moment. But the Devil's Tree, there's a lot of lore and legend that goes around it. And like I said, you could go to this day and see it. And it's basically an old oak tree. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for the donation. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for meeting my simple goal of one thing. So thank you for that. That's awesome. So the Bernardsville Devil's Tree, let me show you what it looks like because I think that's important. So here we go. The Devil's Tree. Here we go. This is what the Devil's Tree looks like now, believe it or not, because over the years it has been so vandalized and damaged because of the legends around it that the town decided to wrap it up with a fence and a chain around it. So you can't actually touch it. But it's, as you can see, it's a very big trunk. It's a very big old tree. You could even see some graffiti written up here in blue. So it attracts a lot of attention. It's in the middle of a field. There's nothing else behind except weeds. It's in a vacant field, and you'll as I tell you the story, you'll understand why it's in a vacant field and why nothing else is around it. Because legend has it that you're not supposed to attack it. You're not supposed to do any damage to it. You're not supposed to go near it because of the consequences that could happen if you do. So, yeah, Don, it's supposed to be 200 years old. I don't know. You have to cut it, right? You'd have to cut it down to count it, to count the rings in it to actually determine what how old it is. But it's been around quite a while. So, let me see. Let me. I think I have another. Do I have another picture of it? Hold on. Let me see if I have another picture of it. Maybe not. But I wanted to show you how it looks in the. Here it is. Okay, let me show you this. Let me see. Okay. And this is part of the lore too. Part of the lore is that if you touch the tree, your hands will turn black. And that's part of why they wrapped it so people can't touch the tree. Now, in this picture, you'll see there's the tree in the background. Let me put it on full screen. And there's an example of how someone's hands get when they touch it. So the tree is out on its own alone. And here's a sign that says park closed. They don't want anyone going near here. It is technically in a park. It's undeveloped land, but it sits out there alone. And it's a target for kids and thrill seekers. So, this is, and they call it the devil's tree. Now, why would they call it the devil's tree? Well, this is the reason. That blackness that comes from the hand, that gets on your hands, it's said that this is because, the legend says at least, that it's because this is a link. This tree has a link to the depths of hell, and the heat from the depths of hell come up and heat up the tree, and as a result, this soot comes out of it. So it's kind of far-fetched, but that's what they say happened. Yeah, Delilah, I don't know what that is. They say that that's what is on your hands. Now it does wash off afterwards. It's like ash. Why would it come from this tree? I don't know. The story is that it's the heat from hell. The devil's tree. So anyway, that's what it looks like. That's where it is. Now, some of the other things that happen, some of the other legends and lores around this tree is that the tree itself is cursed, and anyone who disrespects it, meaning damage it or touch it or even talk about it in a negative way, in the vicinity will have negative consequences that will happen to them. The most common thing that happens is that their cars stall or break down as they're leaving the area. So if you were to go there, visit the devil's tree, touch it, try to carve something off of it, carve your name in it, spray paint on it, anything like that, or talk bad of it even, chances are your car will break down or stall as you're trying to leave the area. Some people even claim that accidents have occurred for those who did this. As they left, they got into an accident. So bad things happen to those that play around with this tree. Some say that this tree was used, this is part of the evil around it, that it was used as a lynching post for rebel slaves or escaped slaves that rebelled against their masters. And, some from south, maybe some from the south that escaped and north and were eventually captured. So it's a very evil type of sense that comes around this tree. It's also said that a farmer once hanged himself from this tree after killing his entire family. So more evil lore that goes around this. There's also a urban legend that says that if you spend too much time around this tree, a black Ford pickup will appear on the horizon and will chase you in your car. So as you're leaving, in your rearview mirror, you'll see an old black Ford pickup that will appear on the road and will follow you. And it will only follow you so long, and then it will vanish. Once you pass a certain level, it will disappear. Kind of like a headless horseman type of vibe. It can only go so far and then it vanishes. So it's basically a spirit vehicle that appears and follows you. Uh, don't know why. Don't know what the specific backstory is to that part of this legend, but that's it. That's that's what the legend says. This black pickup truck. There's also a specific tale of a young man who climbed the tree itself. So he was young, and he wasn't a kid, but he was young. He was maybe 19, 20 years old. He and his friends went to the devil's tree on a dare. And what he said he would do was he would climb the devil's tree, and that he would go out on one of its limbs and hang on one of its limbs and jump and bounce on it. And that was the dare. That was the dare. And he actually did that. So he went up there, started bouncing on the limb. And by his account, as well as the accounts of his four other friends, the limb itself started to move and hurled him off it. So it wasn't just his bouncing, it was the limb of the tree threw him off. And as a result, he fell and broke his ankle on the spot there. So again, negative consequences if you you play around with this tree. So keep away from it. Bad news tree. And in fact, people have also said, this goes back to the whole lynching part, is that from time to time they'll see like a phantom a phantom noose appear on the tree out of nowhere. It'll just appear and then it'll vanish. Usually on moonlit nights, this noose will appear, this phantom noose, and then will appear once daylight comes. So a very evil, creepy tree that to this day still exists. What's left of it anyway, and people kept away from it by the local township, keeping people away from this tree at all costs. So a very interesting legend with a lot of lore around it and consequences if you play around with it. So that would be my guidance. Don't play around with it. So that's your second story, the Devil's Tree in Bernardsville, New Jersey. All right. All righty. Now, number three. We're going to go to South Jersey, to a place that used to be called Glassboro State College, Glassboro County College, or something like that. It used to be called. Now, this particular place, this particular institution, it's now called Rowan University, but it was founded in 1923. Started out as a junior college, eventually became a full college, thanks to the grant of Henry Rowan. Henry Rowan, who was a billionaire, granted $100 million to this institution. And as a result of that, it became a university. It built buildings and did what it had to do to be qualified as a university. So today it's a university. Don is hitting the scotch. Okay, cool. Hit the scotch. Victor and Lenny look mesmerized by the candles. They do. Look at them. They're like, oh, what's going on? Even Edgar over here. He's kind of aloof. He's looking off. But anyway, so let's talk about Rowan University. Now, Rowan University, it's not that old when you consider about colleges. It is, like I said, from 1923. So it's about 100 years old. And most of the ghostly activity that happens on this campus happens in a place called Bunce Hall, Bunce, Bunce Hall. Now, I'm going to show you the picture of Bunce Hall in a second. Now, who was Bunce? Bunce was the owner of the land on which this college was built on. So he was the original farmer that owned the land. and they named this after him. But he's not part of the story. That's just the name of the building. So let me show you what the building looks like. This particular building has all of the activity that is documented, all the paranormal activity. Hello, Bill C. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. All right, here we go. Let's talk about Bunce Hall. Now, here's what it looks like. Now, it's pretty cool architecture. I think it's beautiful. This really looks like a college. It's like Georgian architecture, I guess you would call it. This is Bunce Hall. This was the original building. There are other buildings now, but this is the oldest building on the campus, and it has the ghostly activity. Now, the ghostly activity seems to be centered around the theater that is located within this particular building. Now, that theater is called Toe Hill Theater. Now, let me show you what Toe Hill Theater looks like. Let's get rid of this. And let's go to what Toe Hill Theater looks like. Here it is. This is the inside of Toe Hill Theater. Cool place. Looks very modern. They've modernized it over the years. They do a lot of plays here. Hey, Gianni, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for stopping in. So Toe Hill Theater is named after a woman by the name of Elizabeth Tohill. Now, Elizabeth Tohill was a teacher here, a drama arts teacher at the college from 1930 to 1956. She was a staple at the college. Anyone who was there who took dramatic arts would have Professor Tohill, Elizabeth Tohill. Now, Elizabeth Tohill retires in 1956, and she dies only 4 years later, 1960. Let me get rid of this. Now, it's believed that it's her ghost that is hanging out at Toe Hill Theater, the theater that's named after her. Now, when she was alive and when she was a professor there, she had a reputation of being a very harsh theater critic. She would be very harsh on whether a play would be successful or not. She would really wouldn't hold back. She'd really give criticism and tell it like it is when it came to plays that she didn't like, acting she didn't like. And it seems that she's carried that into the afterlife because a lot of the activity around this theater seems to be from her directly watching over performances and watching over rehearsals. And people say they see her spirit appear in the seats watching while they're rehearsing. And even when the plays are being produced and performed, her spirit will attend the opening day of these plays and will often be seen in the balconies at that time. Some people even said they see her on backstage. Now, how does she carry on her critical side in the afterlife? Well, it's pretty easy, and it kind of makes sense. If she thinks the play is being performed well, and she thinks that it is the acting as well, directing as well, the whole package is done well, she will flicker the lights. She will make the lights flicker. This is an indication to those performing as well as directing, and that she approves that this is good. They're going to be a success. The play is going to be a success. If she doesn't like your play, though, there are other things that happen. Things get thrown around, things break, things fall inexplainably. They will fall, and one of the things that let's see. One of the things that is interesting about this is that for those that have encountered these ghostly ratings, one way or the other, experienced them one way or the other, they say that she is 85% correct in whether a play will be a hit or successful. So if the lights flicker, there's an 85% chance that that play is going to be beloved. It's going to be a smash. It's going to be a hit. If they don't, and these other things happen, it's probably going to be a dud. It's going to be a loser. So she seems to have maintained her ability in the afterlife to know good acting and know what's going to be successful. An interesting ghost that interacts with the people that are the students and the people that are using this theater. There's also a ghost by the name of Thomas Whitney, they say, who was a wealthy glass manufacturer in the area, who often will be seen in this building as well. Now, the connection specifically with him and the building is not really clear. I couldn't find an answer as to why he's correct, why his spirit would be showing up here. But he seems to be the male ghost that they see. But it's primarily Elizabeth Tohill, the former teacher, that haunts this place and does a lot of interacting with the students and the professors that are now using this theater. So there you have it. That is the story of the ghostly critic of Tohill Theater in Rowan University. So if you ever happen to visit Rowan University, it's in South Jersey. You may want to stop in and see a play. You might see Elizabeth Tohill's ghost sitting next to you. Who knows? So anyway, there you go. The ghostly critic of Rowan University. Yeah, honeybee, a ghostly Siskel and Ebert. Exactly. Is the reaction a factor in whether the play is successful? Are the viewers afraid to go against their opinion? I don't know. That's a good question. I think her reaction is just a prediction, right? So I didn't read anything about people, not going through with the play because of the ghostly activity. It's just that they've documented when she was positive and when she was negative, and it seems that 85% of those times she's right, that it's a good play. It's a good, and it's a hit. So I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that if you're there and you believe in this, you're probably going to be affected by it. You're probably going to be worried that your performance is going to be off, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy too. So maybe her critical reactions kind of influence whether a play is successful or not, right? Because the people that are believing in this and encountering it are going to have to deal with that in the back of their minds when they're performing. That she thought we're going to flop. Maybe we are going to flop. It's the old superstition around performance. Don't say good luck, say break a leg, because good luck means you're going to have bad luck. So very superstitious people in the theater, and I would imagine that they take this to heart. Yes, Ben. 23 people watch, 26 people watching. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Please hit the like button. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. All right, so let's go on to our fourth story. 27 people. Let's get to 30. Can we get to 30? Come on. Come in. 3 more people. Come in. 3 more people. Let's get to 30. Let's have a 30 shot, as a 30 piece, as Stiggs would say. All right, let's go on to the last story, number 4, fourth story. This is the haunted Shippen Manor of Oxford, New Jersey. Now, Oxford, New Jersey is located in Sussex County, rural area, northwestern New Jersey. And Shippen Manor was built in 1760. So this place has seen the Revolution. It has seen a lot. It has seen over 250 years, more than 250 years of comings and goings in northwestern New Jersey. Um, it was built by Dr. William Shippen and his brother Joseph Shippen. Now, let me show you what it looks like. Looks like we're going down, so we're not going to get 30, but who knows? Maybe we'll have 30. Maybe people will come back in and we'll do 30. Who knows? Let me show you what Shippen Manor looks like. Shippen Manor is coming up right here. Hold on 1 second here. Where are you, Shippen Manor? Here we go. This is what Shippen Manor looks like. Hold on. So you can see it. It is a colonial, very big colonial type of place, mansion, whatever. Um, very made of stone, made to last. What our forefathers would build in the 1700s, and as you can see, it's pretty big. And it's balcony, and it's a balcony and a porch on 2 levels. And let's see if any of these other better pictures. I don't know. I don't know if they are. I just think it's. I think that picture is well enough. This one is probably the best. So that's what we're talking about right here. This is Shippen Manor, and it is open for visitors to go in and see. As a museum these days, but it has a haunted history. So now let's get into that. And this particular place has a bunch of stuff happening to it. Now, some of the things that happen routinely: doors open and close, locked doors open and close. There are 3 specific ghosts that are witnessed within this particular building. One is the spirit of a Revolutionary War soldier who is often seen cold and shivering as if he is out in the cold and covered with, shivering from cold and snow. Maybe that's how he died. I don't know. But how he arrives to be hanging out in the parlor area of Shippen Manor, I'm not really sure. No one seems to know. There aren't many theories around this. Hey, Ryan, good to see you, Ryan. There is a small boy, about 4 or 5 years old, that is often seen in the dining room. The spirit of a 4 or 5-year-old boy, described as having blonde hair and blue eyes. And in in the early 2000s, 2010 region, actually a little bit, 2010 region time period, a vocalist was visiting Shippen Manor by the name of Shelley Shutter, and she saw this particular spirit in the dining room. In fact, it was so real that she thought there was a 4 or 5-year-old boy there that was touring the mansion with her. But she turned around, the boy was gone, and she asked the guide, and the guide said, no, there were no kids on this tour. There's no kids here. So basically, she saw this, and to have such an accounting of a spirit like that it had blue eyes and blonde hair and blue eyes is interesting to me. It must have been such a strong manifestation that it looks like it's a live person. So we have a Revolutionary War soldier hanging out in the parlor. You have this 4 or 5-year-old young boy, blonde-haired young boy, who hangs out in the dining room area. And then you have the blue lady. Now, either the blue lady or the woman in blue can go by either terms. Now, she is seen also in the parlor area, but the interesting thing about her is that you only see her upper torso. You don't see her full body. Many people have seen her wearing, and they call her the lady in blue because she's wearing a blue dress. She has her hair in a bun, much like, as if she was from the 1800s. But wears a blue dress, but she has no bottom. You don't see her feet, her legs. All you see is, from her waist up, manifestation of the blue dress. So an interesting thing there. No one can really pinpoint who she is, her identity in real life, but the blue lady is what they call it. Now, now, I told you that William Shippen built this with Dr. William Shippen, built this with his brother Joseph Shippen. And at one point in time, what he does is William Shippen turns the house over to Joseph. William is a doctor; he wants to go practice his medicine, so he turns the manor over to Joseph. And it was at the time Joseph was using it as a inn, I guess, like boarding house, inn, whatever you want to call it. And because of that, it is believed that Joseph Shippen's ghost is also on the premises. So he's basically the fourth ghost here. Now, there's an interesting story that goes along with Joseph Shippen's spirit, or Joseph Shippen's ghost. In 2010, the TV show Ghost Hunters, I don't know if you're familiar with that. I don't even know if it's still on the air, but it was big at the time. It used to be on the Sci-Fi Channel, I think. TAPS was the name of the organization. TAPS, and I forget what that stands for. Something American Paranormal Society. I don't know what the T stands for, but they call themselves TAPS. Whatever. They went there and did a whole investigation in 2010, and actually you could probably find it online somewhere, the videos of that and what they recorded there. But the stories that have come out of that particular analysis or that particular investigation are fascinating. They took with them a psychic too during this particular, and she was said to have encountered a lot of things, experienced a lot of things that couldn't be picked up on the cameras and on the digital recorders, but they did pick up certain things on the digital recorders. For example, what they did pick up in the dining room where the boy spirit would be, they picked up a boy's voice saying, "Uh-oh, uh-oh." They picked that up on their digital recorders. So that was an interesting find there that they documented. Now, Joseph's ghost is interesting enough. It seems that when they were doing their investigation of the building as a whole, they went into the attic. And they went into the attic, and the attic was filled with boxes and various things. And they were taking various readings of these devices they use when they're ghost hunting. And it is said that while they're doing this, they're panning the attic, and they see out of the corner of their eye an image of a young man leaning against some of the boxes, and they think it's probably a caretaker or a museum employee. But as they do this, they realize that the man that's leaning there is kind of translucent. It's not something that they can see. Now, this happened before they had set up the cameras. So they did not have the cameras rolling at the time. This wasn't part of the show part of it. They were just going in there, setting up, looking at the whole house, putting where they're going to put cameras. And this is the normal thing they do for the show. And they're in the attic and they encounter this spirit. And one of the ghost hunters, I think it's Jason, who it is, says to him, "Are you Joseph Shippen?" Which is interesting. I mean, they knew the history around this. So they asked him, "Are you Joseph Shippen?" And they say that the ghost responds to them and that he says, "Who else would it be?" Which is kind of a snappy answer, right? And before they were doing that, they were calling out, if anyone is here, if you would like to speak to us, we'd like to speak with you. We'd like to speak with you. And the spirit says to them, "Just because you want to speak to me doesn't mean I want to speak to you." So Joseph Shippen is kind of a wise ass. And he's not somebody that really is accommodating, I guess. And they go on to ask him, "Why are you here? Why is your spirit here?" And he says, "I have nothing else better to do." And then they ask him about why he hasn't crossed over to the other side and moved on to heaven or whatever's next. And this is interesting. He says to them, "I never believed in that stuff. So I don't think that's true. I don't think there is another side." Now, this is a ghost speaking about this. So I just thought that was it's quite an interesting tale. Now, as this is going on, the psychic is there, and the psychic is the witness to this. The psychic is the one that basically hears a lot of this and is like the third party witness to what's going on here. And as the ghost of Joseph leaves, he begins to leave. He whooshes by the ghost hunters, and they feel the wind of him going by, and they feel the cold chill as he leaves the room or leaves the attic. So I thought that was pretty cool, a pretty cool story that happened while they're trying to do this. They're trying to do ghost hunting. There's also a tale while this ghost hunting was going on in the basement of this, which basically is a cellar. I don't know if you want to call it a basement, but it was a cellar originally, a fruit cellar or a vegetable cellar, which a lot of these ancient homes have in them. There was a ghost of a 1950s era handyman hanging out there, working as if he was working on the furnace, and he too was interactive. So we're talking about interactive spirits that are talking to people and not just residual hauntings that happen like a recording. It is said that he turns to them and says, "This darn furnace breaks down every 6 months. I'm always fixing it." And they have a conversation with him, going back and forth. How long have you been here? What do you plan on doing? And such and such. So a very active spiritual location where these ghosts are intelligent hauntings, I guess, interacting, talking to people. So I thought that was a pretty cool story. The psychic was named Lynn Sutherland, I believe, and I think she has a website if you're interested where you can go, and she gives her account of this particular thing that happened in 2010. And you can watch that, read through that whole thing. But so Haunted Shippen Manor in Oxford, New Jersey is open for tours. You can go in there and see if you encounter anything. You might encounter the blue lady. You might encounter the little boy with the blonde hair and the blue eyes. You might see the Revolutionary War soldier shivering cold from the winter, whatever it might have been where he died. Or you might see Joseph Shippen himself, or even this handyman. Who knows? So you have a bunch of spirits that are very active. An interesting tidbit about this is that the first accounting of a ghostly presence on this location was 2005, which is so interesting considering how old this building is, 1760s. So what happened? Was it a renovation? What happened that stirred up this spiritual activity in 2005? And since then, it's been going crazy. So it's a very good hot spot. It attracts a lot of people to come there and who are interested in the paranormal and want to see a ghost. So it's just something you could put on your list if you're ever in New Jersey, northern New Jersey, northwestern Sussex, and you want to check it out. Please do. It should be an interesting place. So Shippen Manor in Oxford, New Jersey. So there you have it, your fourth story. Yeah, I think it's Gina. I noticed that the chat I think it's just got quiet. I don't know. Maybe people are just sitting back, relaxing, and listening to the story. Hello, Hollywood. How are you? The chat slowed down, though. It definitely did slow down, and that's common, though. Yeah, Ben. I just think people are sitting watching listening to the story. That's all. I don't think it's any systematic issue there. All right, so you had Shippen Manor, you had Rowan University with the Haunted Theater and the Ghostly Critic. You had the Devil's Tree in Bernardsville, and then you had Bicycle Pete at Sterling Mine. So there you have your 4 New Jersey ghost stories for this September 5th, 2025. And Don said they all got scared. Well, they're not that scary. I don't think these stories are scary, quite frankly. I think they're interesting. I don't think they're scary, though. But those are your 4 stories for this evening. Thank you for listening. Let's go on to our next stage here. Did I say hello to Hollywood? I saw Hollywood came in. Thank you, Hollywood, for coming in. No, thank you, Gerard. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Let's move on to our next phase of the show. If you want to, hang out. If not, thank you for being here. But let's move on to... Let's play that again, just in case you missed it. Time for Paranormal Caught on Camera. All right. Now we have a guest here. Hello there. Wait a minute. What happened here? Let me get you back on. Here we go.
It's going down.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Ah, Jason with the blue. Look at that. Jason's taking the blue.
So we got a couple videos, is that what you said?
Yeah. Well, I think they're really still pictures, but they're in a video. Let me see what I got here. All right. Let's see here. Police.
Yeah, I'm in a high ice is on the way.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh boy. All right, let's start with this. Okay. Now this, interestingly enough, takes place in New Jersey. It's just a coincidence. I didn't look for New Jersey specific, but this one does. So let's go with this one first. Share my screen.
Delilah Cromell, hello. Don, hello. Magooch, hello. I'm on the 5% Magooch.
5% blue. Okay. There we go. Now before you see this is a tombstone. I don't know if you have this out near you, Osada, but this kind of creeps me out. These tombstones. I've seen them popping up lately in cemeteries around here where it's like an image. It's like a pseudo photo image of the dead person on the tombstone. As you can see, there's 3 people here that are buried.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
I don't even like having my picture taken too much, to tell you the truth, let alone put it on it. And I'm not a fan of pre-buying plots of land to be buried in. Just my own personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's neither here nor there. If people want to do that, they do that. But I mean, this thing strikes me. Like whenever I'm in the cemetery visiting my mother's grave, or my father, they're together. But I see these and they just kind of creep me out, these things. I mean, I would never think to put their pictures on a tombstone. It's like a shiny tombstone and their heads, the people's heads are on it. It just creeps me out. But I guess it's popular with some people. So, okay. So the story behind this one is that this person is going to visit this particular grave and they took a picture of it to send back to their mother who lives on the West Coast. So I guess these are relatives of theirs. So let's play this. And you're going to see something in the reflection of the tombstone. This is in the reflection of the tombstone, which is above the name that came out in the picture.
Well, my first just thought is that, okay, well, they printed pictures on that tombstone already, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
now this, to me, this is a reflection, right? To me, it looks like it's, I don't know. To me, it looks like it's fake. Like this face looks fake to me.
well, isn't it almost the same? It's basically the same size as the 3 heads on there, isn't it?
Yeah, let me go back here. Hold on. Let me go back to the beginning because you could see it. You can kind of see it in the very beginning. Now, here it is. You see it? It's above the R. It's above the R here. So here the face is on the tombstone. It's different. It's definitely different. But I'm thinking, that this was put in there to me because the face itself looks fake. Like the face itself doesn't look like the face of a person, like a live person. So I don't think it's a reflection of someone standing there. Let's get a close up. There you go. See now, you see how it looks like. See how square the nose is here? It's like, you know what I mean? It almost looks. I don't know. How am I describing this? It looks like a robot face to some degree.
Yeah, and it almost kind of looks like it almost kind of looks like I don't know if it's oil painting or that chalk
Mm,
that they use. You know what I mean? It's got those
yes.
lines with the shadows and the.
Right. Right.
It definitely has like a, yeah. And what is that like to the by its cheek at the bottom? It's almost like there's a hole cut into his cheek.
Yeah, it's like it's part skeleton, right? Like part skeleton face. I think you know what I mean. Like here's like the head, and then it turns into a skeleton as it comes as you go down. Like if you could see the full, I think you'd see a skeleton face, like a jaw, like Lenny's. You'd see over there.
Right. I have an app that I love to use called Prisma that you can take any photo and it'll change the photo into different art forms that you can use. Like I can't think of the artist right offhand, but it is like it'll turn it into like a Van Gogh painting and like a sketch, and it really reminds me of one of those. I can't think of what the artist is, but
Oh, okay.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
The more I stare at it, the more it looks like it was some type of almost like a like they painted it in there. Almost,
Yes.
you know.
Honeybee says an oil painting. Delilah says, yeah, you see a skeleton face on the side view, a person holding an ice cream cone. Maybe I just want, yeah, a person holding an ice cream cone. Yeah, I think I'm thinking that this is faked. I'm thinking this is faked. I'm thinking that they took that picture wherever it is and they put it in here, put it into the picture. I don't think it's a reflection. I don't think it's a spirit. I think it's an oil painting or some type of artistic rendition of like someone turning into a skeleton or what have you. And they found that and they put it in here. So I'm going with that. This is bogus. That this is this is a fraud.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's get rid of that. Now let's see what do we got here. What's next here? Okay, let's see. All right, this one. This is taken on a farm that was said to have been abandoned when this occurred, when this photo was taken. So here we go.
Well,
Well, they
it's a
say no one
creepy.
is at the farm. They're saying no one was at the farm when this picture was taken. Now, you could see it's a girl, right?
Yeah, for sure. White dress. It almost looks like a doll.
Yeah, the head kind of looks like a doll, right? Right. So I'm trying to
But
think from like a technical picture standpoint, is this in the picture or is it like what looks
right.
strange to me is this right
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
right? Where that like where the edge of the house is, the edge of the barn or whatever that is. It doesn't look right to me. It looks like I don't know.
Yeah,
That is
because
kind of
you can it almost looks like she's in front of that line a little bit,
yes. Yeah.
you know. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody that does some photos from time to time, you could definitely Photoshop that in there, but
Hmm.
it's a creepy
It is
picture.
creepy. Yes. There's no doubt about it. It is a creepy picture. Yeah. But I wouldn't go running over there expecting to see a ghost. Honestly, I would think that it's just probably somebody's playing around. Um, all right, let's go. Let's get rid of this. All right. All right. Now this is interesting. This one's interesting. This one is taken. This was taken at the Bernardsville. We just talked about Bernardsville for the Devil's Tree. This was taken at the Bernardsville Library. Now, I couldn't find any backstory to this at all, but this is definitely a creepy one. Let's see. Now, this is some type of like closet or storage area here. And to me, this looks like a girl peeking out of it with like an 1800s type of, like Little House on the Prairie type of look, like with the curls.
And, yeah, Nellie Olson.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, at first I thought it looked like a transformer, but now that you say that, I totally see what you're saying. Yeah, no, it definitely looks like a girl looking to her left.
Yeah.
Peeking out that door.
So the question is, like, is this just a girl? You know, I mean, there's no way of telling one way or the other if this is just a girl or not. I don't know. I mean, this is an old photo. It's not a digital photo. It's like an analog photo. So, and it's kind of blurred to begin with. So I don't know. Dina says this one's interesting. Yeah, I think it is. I don't know what to make of it. Because it could very easily be a girl in period dress, looking out. I don't know.
Hard to say. It just jogged my memory of my kids. They lived in a house when they were kids. They're both older now, and they both at different times seen a little boy in the house.
Oh wow!
And they basically described the same boy. My son seen him coming down the stairs. He said he just woke up and was sitting on the couch, and this little boy, and he has a younger brother named Matthew. He thought maybe it was him at first. And it was come down the stairs. He rubbed his eyes, and the boy was gone. And then my daughter got out of the shower, and she thought it was her little brother Matthew going into her bedroom, and she said, "Hey, get out of my room." Well, when she goes in there, nobody's in there, and her little brother Matthew was sleeping.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah,
that's really creepy.
And it happened at the same, right within like maybe I'll say like a month or two. I don't know the exact time frame that they had that same sighting. So you just never know. I mean, you always believe your kids when they say, especially when two different kids say basically this,
right.
So it's hard to say. I mean, it's so easy to Photoshop things. So 50% of your brain always like, well, this is not true, but you can never say for sure. I'll tell you what, when I'm excuse me, when I'm in my commercial kitchen at night, I get so freaked out. I don't even like to go in there at night when I'm by myself. It scares me that bad because it's an old building and it's attached to it's one huge building, and there's a musical playhouse right next to it. And that's what really creeps me out, is that playhouse.
Oh, and really?
I just get freaky feelings when I'm in there. I just, so you just never know. And I've had a ghost experience myself. I think I told you about it at the pizza place. So you never know.
Yeah, you mentioned that the pizza place, but I don't remember what it was. What was this?
So that I never seen it. So excuse me. I was the closing supervisor at this place called Trackside Pizza in Puyallup, and my girlfriend had my car, and she was running late. I had already turned the alarm on and realized she wasn't out there. So I called her. She's like, "I'm sorry, I'll be there in like 15 minutes." So I went back inside and turned the alarm off, and I sat down, turned the TV on, and I called my buddy Troy and was talking to him on the phone. Well, our TV is always on silent, always on Sports Center. All of a sudden, after about 2 minutes of talking to my buddy Troy, the TV just starts blaring loud out of nowhere. Okay. So I get up and I grab the remote from the podium and I turn it down. I'll never forget, it was on 73. So like 3/4 of the way up. And we always have it on 0. So I don't know how it got to 73. And so I turn it down to 0. And I tell my buddy Troy, I'm still talking to him. I say, that's weird. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see this black cape-like figure. It's out of my peripheral, so I don't really get a good view of it. It flies through the kitchen, and we have it's a pizza place. We have a pie line, and right there, all the customers can see people make the pizza. The ovens are right there.
Right.
So it's a big straight line, and this black cape goes flying. It comes out of like the dish pit and flies through the kitchen. Okay, and I'm leaning on this wood podium that says, "Please wait to be seated." This like big wood oak podium. My elbow's leaning on it. And I'm holding my phone in my left hand, and I'm about to say, what the hell was that, to my buddy Troy. I don't even get to what the hell. And my other arm that's leaning on the podium starts shaking like violently. Wow. And the name of the pizza place is called Trackside Pizza. It's right next to railroad tracks.
Right.
Okay? And we have trains that come flying by there like 80 miles an hour, shakes the whole building. I thought it might have been that, but it's 11 o'clock at night. It's dead silent. It's not a train. And the only thing that's moving is this podium. I'm so scared and I'm looking in the kitchen. So, and my arm starts shaking before I don't even have time to look. I turn around and look. I don't see anything, but I just feel like this. I feel that whatever that cape was, like just staring right in my face. I like scream and I run out the door and I kick the door. And the door like flies open, is about to lock me out. I realized at the last second that the keys are on the table that I was sitting at. So I just put my foot in the doorway and I just stay there until my girlfriend comes. And it was like 10 minutes later. And and I swear to God that happened. So you have the TV that blares loud, the cape that flies through the kitchen, and then that podium that shakes violently. All within a few seconds of each other. So that's why I call it like some type of encounter. If it had just been the TV or something, it would be one thing.
So was it
an
actually a physical cape? Was it actually a cape?
Like I said, it was out of my peripheral. It was dark in there. There was no lights in there on except for the TV, and we have 24-hour lights, these little tiny lights that are up on the ceiling. So it was really hard for me to see. But I mean, and this was in 2009, so I'm just trying to think back. Like, I didn't actually see a cape. What I seen was this black entity float.
So there was like a black mask going by, kind of thing, in the air.
It wasn't the mask that I seen. I didn't even really see its face. I seen its body. I seen this whole body with its arms like spread out, just float like super fast through the kitchen, so fast. And then I said, what the hell? And then it was already behind me shaking the podium. Wow. So it had to like go all the way through the restaurant. And then I looked it up. That hotel, or that Trackside Pizza, used to be, it was the original hotel in that town, Puyallup, Washington. And it came down in an earthquake. And I think that I think the only person that was killed in that hotel was the owner. It was a lady. And so I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
It could be, sure.
Yeah, and then what's crazy is a little while after that, a lady committed suicide on the railroad tracks.
Oh boy!
So I wouldn't be surprised if and the railroad tracks are right outside of the restaurant. Like, and it happened at 2 o'clock in the morning. So after that happened, I told myself, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's all kinds of. I mean, because people get hit by the train all the time there, because the Amtrak does 85. They refuse. Even through the city, they do 85 miles an hour. Can you believe that?
It's terrible that like that's such a gruesome way to die from getting hit by a train, because your body gets torn apart.
That's what happened to her. There was two tarp. I wasn't there, but the sad thing is that it was actually the owner of the pizza place I worked at. It was his cousin, and she was not on her medication. And she sat down on the railroad tracks at 2:00 in the afternoon, and it was an Amtrak that has the little cattle cutter in front, and a whole family of kids and the mom and dad seen it happen. The dad ran out there to try to stop her and said, "Hey, there's a train coming," because the guards came down, and she just stood up and put her hands at her side and like backed up. And then it came and it just cut her in half. I guess they had to put like two tarps 20 yards apart.
Terrible. Yeah. That was just terrible.
Yeah. And so, but anyway, I just, when I hear ghost stories, I always, and I don't tell that story very often because to be honest, nobody ever really believes you when you tell a ghost story. And then it ends up just scaring the shit out of me again for like 2 weeks. Like every time I go outside, I get scared in the fucking dark. So I don't like
well, I always believe people, honestly. I mean, I don't know. I just do. I say, if someone is going to go through the trouble of telling this story, it had to be something they encountered. I don't think that people, as a rule, go out of their way and make up something like that where they are not going to be believed, right? So why would they go about doing it unless they actually experienced it? That's why, and that's my position on it. So I believe that happened to you. I just
it did. It absolutely did happen. And I never believed anybody's ghost stories before that happened to me. I mean, I really didn't. It's not that I didn't believe them. It just went in one ear and out the other. I don't know. Maybe I just kind of thought that they were either dumb or crazy. I don't know what I thought.
Yeah.
But once that happened to me, and I consider myself, like one of the most have the most common sense. I'm not the smartest guy, but I have like the most common sense. It's very hard to fool me. And so I just, there's nothing that my brain could chalk it up as other than, I don't know what to call it. A spirit, a ghost, a demon, something was in there. So maybe it was the government. Maybe the government was tired of me saying, quit blaming us for everything. How about this? So.
We'll teach him a lesson. We'll the shit out of him. Delilah says, once it happens to you, it changes your perspective. Yeah.
100%. It does.
I mean, let me get rid of this now. I think this is, I don't know what this is, quite frankly. It could be real. It could, to me, most likely it's a girl, just a girl that they happen that someone took a picture of coming out of a closet or what have you. But, because it doesn't look spiritual to me at all. It just looks like a girl. Let me close this out here. So, one of the things that happened to me was when I was at work, and I think I've told this story before, but I was in the buildings that the company that I work for has two buildings, and it's connected by a tunnel underneath. Now, this tunnel was built pre-World War II because the War Department was in here, and it was an escape route in case something were to have happened to the building. And it connects to different buildings, and it connects under the streets. It goes to another building, but it connects mainly to two of the buildings the company owns. And I take this all the time to go back and forth. And I was leaving one day. It was about 5 o'clock, end of the day type of thing. And I'm walking in the tunnel, and the tunnel has these doors that are automatic, and they're fire doors. So as you walk towards it, do you remember Get Smart? You remember that TV show Get Smart?
Yeah.
Where the doors were at the beginning, where he's walking into the secret location, and the doors open, as he approaches. That's what happens in this tunnel. So I approach the first door, and and I go through it. Opens. I go through it, and then I turn the corner. Now I hear the door close, right, and I just continue to go. Then I hear the door open again, and I'm like, oh, someone's behind me. The door opens again, and then I hear like feet, like coming, and I said, "Oh, this is some tool that's running in the tunnel." Because people do this. Like people go there, put on their running sneakers, and run in the tower. So I'm like, "Oh, here, this some clown's gonna run past me in a second." And so I just continue to. I don't look back. I continue to go, and I feel the sound of the running cutting closer to me, and then I hear, and then I feel a wind like come over me, like. But nothing is there. Nothing is there. And it goes past me, and I see absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And there's no wind in the tunnel at this time, but this wind, as if it was like a ghostly runner that came by me and just went, and this chill came over my body, and I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do, and I just kept going. I just kept, kind of, and I was like, let me get me out of this tunnel. And the next day I went back and I filmed it, like I just to hope to try to catch something, but nothing. There was nothing there. Like I thought maybe there might be something I could catch on camera. There was nothing, but it was such a realistic experience because I heard those footsteps, like a runner's footsteps, and I expected the guy to come past me, but there was no guy, and all I felt was the wind of something going past me.
Wow.
And I'll swear that to anyone that happened to me, without a doubt. And I heard those doors open behind me after they had closed, and it came, whatever it was, ran past me, and it was completely invisible. I couldn't see anything there. So it creeped me out. For a while, I thought maybe I'm not going to go back into this tunnel. I'm going to go outside. I'll walk between the buildings outside because I couldn't explain what happened.
And to this day, you still can't chalk it up to anything other
Yeah.
than what you felt, right? I mean,
that's it. And it was a one-time deal. All these years that I've been there, nothing like this ever happened. It was this one-time thing that happened. Hey, Stony, thanks for coming in, Stony. Appreciate it.
Hello. Yeah, it's so that just and when I hear a story like that from somebody like you, it just completely cements my own belief in my own story. Like, I know I'm not crazy. Like, these things do happen. You know what I mean? Like, so, and it was so real for me that I knew from day one I wasn't crazy. I was like, it's just, but again, and it was so, it scared me so bad. I told my boss, I told everybody at work about it. I said, I can't close, because I was a closing supervisor. I said, I can't close by myself anymore. I'm sorry. Somebody's got to stay at least till the very end. And luckily he obliged,
Wow. Jeez. And that was the only experience you had there, right? You didn't have any other experiences there?
At that place? No.
That place,
no.
yeah. That was the only one. It's interesting. Like, it happens, like these things happen. Like the thing happened with me. It only one time, after 29 years of being there, it only happened one time. That only happened to me one time. So
I couldn't even go into the bathroom, like it would get towards the end of the night. There could still be a few people in there, and I couldn't even go into the bathroom without getting freaked out, like really freaked out. You know what I mean? And I found myself like looking up at we had a separate banquet room. It was just such this old building.
Yeah.
It really freaked me out, man. Because that was in 2009, and I just feel myself like the hair standing up in 2025 talking about it. 2009, it really screwed me up for a while. It was that profound, because I had to that point, I'm probably what, 30 something. I was 100% convinced that ghosts did not exist. And if anybody said a ghost story, they were pretty much lying. That was my take on ghosts back then, until that happened. And I was like, dang, okay, I get it now. I get why people say this kind of stuff.
I got to be a little bit open now to those.
You got to be able to, but at the same time, we know that there's a lot of people out, because if they continually go, oh well, and then this happened to me, and then this, and you're not going to believe this happened to me, and then, I mean, then whatever. But there are people out there that, for whatever reason, good or bad, they do attract more paranormal stuff than the average person.
And
my girlfriend was like that.
And in this day and age, there's so many fraudsters out on the internet that it makes you kind of more skeptical than you would normally be, because like how many of these things we look at and we can easily debunk them, but they're put out there as if they're paranormal. They're like, oh, I swear this happened. Well, we can tell it's fake. So the age of the internet and the age of social media has like changed the game, so to speak, and made it so everybody's looking for their 15 minutes of fame, I guess, if that's still a saying they use. And they'll come up with this crap. Before this stuff, the only people that said this stuff were people that actually believed it because they experienced it. They didn't want to be considered a nut. They didn't want to be considered a whack job. They would have to actually experience to tell someone this. They weren't going to go out and make it up on their own. Now you got people making it up because they want the clicks and the likes and all that other stuff. So
that's never been so true. I mean, What have you ever heard this statistic? So there's what roughly like 9 billion people on the planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they say that there's been 120 billion people that have lived and died before us.
Wow.
That's a lot of people to roam the earth.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of souls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to think about, and I think about this a lot, like when you're driving down the road, I mean, there's souls that died in places where there's now roads that used to be where there's houses. I mean, Earth has been around for so long that if we could have like a filter that showed us those 120 people, I would be a very crowded place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it just the likelihood of running into a ghost when there's, I mean, if there's 120 billion, I mean, that's like, I can't do the math right now, but that's a lot more times than there is now of living people. So you're very likely to run into a ghost.
Right.
Statistically.
Yeah. Right. That's a good point. That is definitely a good point. And that's why some people believe in reincarnation too. Like there's only so many souls and they keep getting reincarnated because.
Well, I believe that too. So maybe there's not 120.
Yeah.
Billion.
So like maybe it's more like, maybe it's more like a billion or whatever that just keep recycling. You know what I mean? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, because I mean, if you go to heaven, then you don't roam the earth, right? I mean, how does that work? So like only certain people are going to stay here as ghosts and roam aimlessly or whatever. I mean, I guess that's a whole nother discussion, but
yeah. So I have one more of these things to look at. This one I believe is from England. Let's see.
We got 17 people. That's not too bad. It was at 16.
Yeah, that's good. No, it's good. Like I noticed that the paranormal part of the show always has less people. It's just, people, it gets later. People do other things. Some people are not into this. They don't care about this. But we had 27. I had 27 people at one point tonight. So that's pretty darn good. I'm very happy with that. Let's see. So this is in England someplace. And this is like a historical place in England. I don't know exactly where it is, but this photo is taken of what they say is the woman in the window or whatever here. And I think there's more than one here, more than one. Like here's another picture of that house, and this one is supposed to be. And you can see this is like a woman in a hood.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see that one. I think that there's and this is the other one again with the hood, but this one she's all lit up. And then she's up here in this upstairs window here. Again, you got like a hood here. The face and the hood, and then the arms stretching out. And then this is what, they took a series of pictures, and this is what came out. So to me, this looks like it's a real person. And it kind of blurred when, you take these quick shots one after the other. If she moves, it blurs. Like the one in the upper right-hand corner, that doesn't look like a ghost to me at all. It looks like someone with red hair, a woman, a girl, or a woman with red hair.
Yeah, she looks like she's just looking out the window in the morning and just seeing what's going on, or in the evening.
Yeah. Whereas the one to the left, upper left, looks ghostly. And I don't know if that's just because of the blurring. I don't know.
That those don't really freak me out, but the thought of there being somebody in a upstairs window when I'm outside looking up at night in the house that I'm about to go into just terrifies me. I would never go into the house if I seen somebody in the window. I don't care.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I mean, like the psycho thing or whatever. But
yes, absolutely. Yeah, no. No, that would be bizarre. If I ever came home to my house and saw an image in a window, oh my God, I don't know what I
Yeah,
would do because it's
it
my
would just.
house. What am I going to do?
Yeah, you'd be ruined. I mean,
Yeah.
it does. I don't even want to think about it. It's crazy.
And I think that's it for this. I think it just goes back and shows you the other pictures again.
Well, they can't all be real. So
No,
if
no,
we're saying they're all real, then something's wrong with us, right?
yeah. Oh, this is like a they ran it through one of those what do you call it? I don't know what they call this. Where it inverts, it makes it look like the light and it inverts the light in different. So see the face here. You see this face.
Oh yeah, I
Eye
do
and
see
mouth.
it. Yeah,
This was that original picture before of like the screen door. Let's
yeah,
go
with the
back.
hood.
Yeah, let's go back to that. Where is it? This one.
Yeah.
Is it. Now, interesting. Like I see the face up here. When they did this inverse thing, the face is down here. The face is below the door handle. So let's go back.
I would really like to hear from the people that took these photos because we could really gauge, like who they are as a person and just for more, validity of the story.
ACDC says, I love paranormal, but not in my house. And I'm
yeah,
I don't think anyone loves that. Yeah, so all right. Yeah, I mean, like this is I don't know what to say about this one. I don't know. I mean, to me, like I said, this looks like a real person. This creeps me out. The whole reverse image thing creeps me out. I don't know.
It would suck if you really did have a ghost that looked like that and nobody believed you because everybody said it just looks like a real person. And then every night you have to deal with that thing staring at you through the window. I'd move.
Yeah. And like I said, this is a place where no one lives, which is good. It's a historical site. It's like a museum historical site type of thing. So, and like in this one, I don't know what this could be. I mean, it does look like someone wearing a hood and like a raincoat or a hood, but it could simply just be the light inside. It could just be how the light is illuminating the shades. I don't know. There might be like a bright lamp there that illuminates.
And then if you look, I don't know if you can zoom in, but on the brick to the left, it almost looks like her hand is protruding through the brick.
This over here on the left. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Maybe that's a doorbell or something. But just if they were to Photoshop it, you know what I mean? Like, it's got a little Photoshop-esque to it, but just I don't know because I don't know. One thing that make to me the image doesn't look right is like it's just the depth perception. Like a real photo, you can tell by the depth perception. This one just kind of looks odd. Looks like it's in between the door frame somehow. But that doesn't mean it's not real.
True. Right. And if you look at the bottom here, it could be two legs here, right? This looks like it's two legs. Like it's someone wearing here, you know what I mean? The black down here, it looks like it's two legs, someone wearing a raincoat or, something like that.
It would really help if we could hear from the person that took the pic. You know what I mean? Like within 2 minutes, we could tell if they were at least halfway telling the truth. Because I think there's levels to everything. Like there's certain people that they truly believe that it is a ghost or something, and it's not, but they believe that. And then there's people that they're spot on. They did see something they can't explain. And then there's the people that are BSing, of course.
Yep.
So there's all these different levels. Which one are we at with this one?
Patsy says it looks photoshopped, looks layered.
Does look layered.
Yeah.
But
what do you think about those other ones, Patsy? What do you think about the other ones with the woman, the red hair, and all that stuff? I don't know what you think.
I definitely get a ghostly vibe from that image, though.
Like this, if I saw this, this would creep me. Oh my god! If I saw this right here, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go anywhere near the building if I saw this. Looking up at this, forget about it. No. Forget about it.
I wouldn't even go in there during the day with a bunch of friends because I'd be afraid that thing would follow me home. Just stay where you're at. I'm gonna stay where I'm at. We're good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, Pat. Yeah, Pat. I agree. You know, it's one scare. It is. Yeah. I'm homeless after seeing that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Exactly. So there you have it. Those are our paranormal videos for the evening, or pictures. I guess they're really pictures, no videos tonight.
Very good. Entertaining.
Yeah, it was fun. Fun stuff to do.
You're up to 20 people now.
21. There you go.
Timing, yeah.
People coming in and out. People coming back, taking a little break, coming back. It's all cool. But thank you guys for joining AC/DC and Honeybee. New folks. I know AC/DC's been here before, but Honeybee I think is brand new. I haven't seen her before, so thank you guys for coming in, hanging out a little bit. And
yeah, it was fun.
Stoney's got me on 2 TVs. There you go, Stoney. There you go.
Sweet. Well, thanks for having me up, ALV. I'll let you go and have a great rest of Friday.
You too. Have a good one. Bye-bye. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for all of you stopping by and spending some evening with me. It was fun. We had some cool stories, I think, up front, and I think the fact that the chat stopped to quiet it down to listen to them was pretty cool too, because it shows you were interested in the stories. And the videos or the pictures were kind of fun to dissect. So thank you guys for hanging out. Like I said, please hit the like button. That's helpful. And if you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a member. That helps. And thank you again, everyone. Thanks to Osada for coming up and talking about the pictures with me. And if you're not doing anything later, tune into Slim. I'm sure Slim is live already. Slim does his Friday night no copyright thing where he just runs with it. It's always a fun time there too. So thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next week. Until then, stay scared. Bye-bye.